Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dig into the surprisingly massive role that animals have played in shaping our history, and often in the most unexpected ways you can imagine.
So let's just jump right in with a story that honestly sounds like it's made up, but tragically, it is 100% true.
Our story starts back in 1920. We've got a young king on the throne in Greece, but here's the thing. He's got the crown, but he has no real power.
Picture this. It's a quiet day in October 1920, and King Alexander is just trying to get away from it all the political pressure of being a puppet ruler. He's just out for a walk on his estate with his dog, Fritz.
Then, out of nowhere, a fight breaks out between his dog and a pet monkey that belonged to one of the staff. So, like any dog owner would, Alexander jumps right in to separate them. He's trying to protect his beloved Fritz.
So, they clean up the wounds, right? But the king, he insists the whole thing be kept a secret. Why? Well, he's embarrassed. I mean, can you imagine the headlines? A king getting taken down by a monkey?
And what seemed like this bizarre, almost funny little incident, well, it takes a turn. A really dark turn. The infection gets bad, sepsis sets in, and the doctors, they hesitate. Nobody wants to be the one to sign off on amputating a king's leg, especially over a silly monkey bite. But by the time they realized just how serious it was too late.
Okay, so a king dies from a monkey bite. It sounds completely random, right? But what's so fascinating is how this tiny event is actually a perfect little example of this huge, powerful force that has shaped history over and over again. The law of unintended consequences.
You know, the policy expert Peter Ho put it really well. He basically said that no matter how smart you are, the world is just so complex that even the best plans can go completely sideways. A tiny little cause can have massive, unforeseen effects.
And if you want to see this principle play out on a massive, and I mean tragic scale, look no further than this famous campaign from mid-20th century China.
So during China's Great Leap Forward, Chairman Mao launched this huge campaign against what he called the four pests. And the logic for sparrows, well, on the surface, it kind of made sense, right? Sparrows eat grain seed. Grain seed is food. So if we get rid of the sparrows, we save the harvest. Simple.
But here's the thing. There was this one tiny, crucial detail they completely missed. In their laser focus on the grain, they forgot about the sparrow's other, much more important job in the ecosystem.
And just like that, the entire ecological balance gets thrown completely out of whack. With their main predator pretty much wiped out, the locust population just exploded. Massive swarms swept across the countryside, and there were hardly any birds left to stop them.
So think about that for a second. The very policy that was supposed to save the harvest actually helped cause one of the worst famines in human history. It's the ultimate backfire, an attempt to control nature that had absolutely devastating consequences.
You know, seeing how unpredictable nature can be, it's kind of wild to think about how often we've deliberately tried to turn animals into weapons.
Yeah, for centuries, if you wanted to dominate a battlefield, you brought elephants. They were literally the living tanks of the ancient world. They brought raw power, but just as importantly, they were absolutely terrifying to face.
But here's the catch. Elephants are not natural-born killers. So to turn them into weapons, the training was just systematic and brutal. They were pricked with spears, forced to endure the thunder of war drums, anything to overcome their gentle nature and forge them into killing machines.
And we are not talking about a couple of elephants here and there. The scale of this was absolutely immense. Rulers pinned all their hopes of victory on these elephant corps. I mean, look at the Maurya Empire. They were estimated to have fielded as many as 9,000 elephants. 9,000! But, and you can probably see where this is going, trying to control a massive, powerful wild animal in the middle of a chaotic battle? Well, that brings us right back to our old friend, the law of unintended consequences. Because when an elephant panics, it really, really panics. Imagine one of these animals getting wounded or its driver getting killed. They would just lose it. So instead of being this incredible weapon charging the enemy, you've suddenly got a multi-ton wrecking ball of pure panic, and it's rampaging through your own troops. The ultimate weapon could completely backfire, turning a potential victory into a slaughter of your own army.
And you know, this whole struggle for control, it wasn't just limited to the battlefield. It played out in the super delicate world of diplomacy too.
For literally centuries, if you wanted to give a gift that screamed, "I'm powerful and I like you," you gave an exotic animal.
We've all heard of panda diplomacy, but this goes way back, like the elephant gifted to the Emperor Charlemagne in the 9th century. These animals were serious diplomatic players.
Here's a great story. The unintended consequence this time wasn't a trampled army, but a total diplomatic faceplant. The leader of the Avars, the Kagan, he asked for an elephant because he wanted to seem powerful and sophisticated like a Roman emperor. But when the Byzantines actually sent him one, he completely freaked out. He was terrified of it, rejected the gift, and ended up just insulting his hosts.
So when you look at all this, from a random monkey bite to a calculated military strategy, it's a powerful reminder that we are not the only ones calling the shots on this planet. The animal kingdom is constantly messing with our plans, showing us the limits of our own control. So what you should take away from this is that history isn't just a human story. It's a complex ecosystem where sometimes the smallest creature can have the biggest impact of all.